shit. That's not fucking good. Alright guys, again we are live at the paintball park in Memphis. They had a scenario game today. It was the Cartel 2 Snitches Get Stitches scenario game, led by Frank Ayers, aka the Warlock of SAS Tennessee, which is a scenario paintball team that travels all over the Mid-South and actually most of the U.S. to play in scenario games like this. There's roughly 100, back up a little bit, there's roughly 100 players here playing in the event. We've got two teams. You have the Cartel, the Snowman Cartel, which I'm a part of. Let me show you my card real quick. Where did I set it down? I may have set it down. Yeah, I don't see it. It was pretty slick. Yeah, I don't know what I did with it. But I was part of the Snowman Cartel. The other side was the DEPA, which is the Drug Enforcement Paintball Agency, DEPA, and they had different themed events. So if you're familiar with Overwatch has a mode where you escort a payload right across the map. So we had that format. We had crates of contraband, crates of guns, crates of cash, and they would have to escort those through different checkpoints, and then the Cartel would get points for each checkpoint they made it through, or the DEPA would get points for denial of those checkpoints at the end of the 45 minutes or so for that one game. Another game they had was a zone control, a domination type map, where you had multiple checkpoints, or multiple control points, which represented drug trafficking or contraband and gun trafficking pathways. And so if the Cartel had them open, then they got points every 10 minutes or so for the ones that they had open. If the DEPA took control and closed them down, then they got points at the 5 or the 10 minute increments for the things that they locked down. It was a lot of fun, really hot today, but a great turnout. Everybody's been super supportive of everything. They took all the fields down, so there's about 50 to 70 acres downfield in the woods that you play on. There's 6 themed fields, and then the back 40 acres of that is just open, wild growth that you can play in with earth and hills and valleys and that kind of stuff, all mixed in as well. They've got a couple of cool theme fields. One is called the Canyon, which has a bunch of landscape timbers stacked around, and like different clubhouses and tree houses set up. And then they've got another set. It's called the Jungle, and in the Jungle, it's got a bunch of sheet metal huts in different formations and shapes. They've got Ground Zero, and the Ground Zero field is a whole series of 55-gallon oil drums that have all been stacked up and welded together in different huts and shapes and walls and structures. You hide behind those, and that's a pretty large field. They even have a hyperball field, which you don't see much anymore, but back in the day, that was one of the first fast speedball courses like this. If you imagine the drain tubes that you see that are like either 8 or 10 inches in diameter, they're black and they got the ridges in them and you can flex and move them. Well, that's what these are, but they're about this big around. They're about 2.5, 3 feet in diameter, and they're stacked up in different shapes and formations and hooked together and linked together, and you play behind those, and that was called hyperball, right? And that was really, really popular until this came out. And this is called airball or speedball or so there's another term for it too, but they're all inflatable bunkers and they're in different shapes. And so there's a team, 901 Misfits, who are really good in this area. They're actually the best, probably the best team in this area that I could think of. And they come out and grind every week and practice and work on snap shooting. That's what these 2 tables are here that are about the height of a person. They'll set them up behind a bunker, and they can practice snap shooting off the break, off the start of the match, and making sure they're hitting their lanes properly at the right height, so they get player eliminations off the start. That's one of the biggest things in paintball, especially for airball, is when you start and you whip your gun up, if you can get into position, get that muscle memory and shoot that lane and get a couple of picks, a couple eliminations off the start, so that you're fighting 5 versus 4, 5 versus 3 off the start, you have a really a much higher percentage of winning that game. So these are set up here to practice that, but they set the map up based on whatever the next event is that they're going to go to. All these events have a particular layout that they'll use that's specific to that event. They'll email them out usually a month ahead of time. The team can go ahead and practicing on their home fields and getting used to the layout. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, super exciting. This is a very exciting mode. As soon as the match starts, you're full of adrenaline, and adrenaline lasts the entire time. You're hearing the paint fly by, you're shooting back, you're seeing people move. It's incredible. And it only lasts for about 1 minute to 7 minutes. You know, it's a quick hit. You go back, you get your paint and air, and then you come right back and you play again. It's a blast. The Woods has those moments, but they're spaced out a lot further because there's a lot of stealth and a lot of predatory type hunting and tracking down where the enemy is before you have to go and try to get the elimination. You got to be patient so that you get them to walk into your line of fire, or you get to stalk them and get the shot you need. It's different, and so it's a lot of attention and anxiety type energy. But then when you get that elimination in the Woods, man, it's an incredible too, because all that work you put in, hashtag all the work, all that work you put in pays off, and you get a big boost of adrenaline. But this is by far my favorite way to play. So if you're in the Memphis area, I highly recommend you come check this place out. I've been here playing here since I was 15. I'm going on 40, so I've been here a long time playing, and it's one of the best facilities around. If you got a paintball park near you, then I highly recommend going and trying that, because you can't. I mean, it's hard. I don't know how anybody have a bad time doing this. This is a blast, and it's fitness, it's coordination, it's a mental chess game. It's kind of all these different things all mixed up and together, and it is an absolute blast, man. I can't say it enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. It's about time for me to head home. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shout real quick or ask me afterwards. I'll respond. I'm gonna do more of these. I plan on doing another one of these live from the park. Probably the next scenario event, or if they have a 3-man tournament come, I can go up here and broadcast from that. Because it's working out pretty well. But anyways, thanks for stopping by, thanks for hanging out, and hope to see you guys up here at the next one. We can be teammates, or we can track each other down. Your call. See ya.